So, friends, welcome to our Twitter Spaces today of, FNOK Charcha. So, today we are going to share with you about knowing your best option strategy. And our guest today is Aditya. Aditya is an IIM alumni. He also has passed his level 3 in CFA and is a full-time option trader managing over 200 crores. So, welcome, Aditya.
Thank you so much, Sanka. Thank you for the introduction.
So, Aditya, how did you start off with your options trading journey? If you can just share with us.
Okay, so I've been trading since 2011, 2007 in my college days, but options I specifically started, I had an account with India Bull. So their RM called me and explained options to me one day over a phone, and I found it very interesting. So I had a capital of around 7 lakhs, which I had reduced to 1 lakh, and he told me that I can take the same positions using options. I had to buy them, and I can get the exact same payoff. And using 1 lakh only, and my fund size had reduced from 7 lakh to around 2 lakhs. So I risked my 1 lakh rupee over there, and I bought some DLF or an HDIL call options, which ultimately went to zero. That is how I started my options trading with a loss making experience.
Okay. So, generally, with so much of loss, people tend to never enter that market, especially you are talking about 2015, right? So,
2011 it was actually.
2011. So, around 2011, if you would have lost 8 lakhs, and even now, that's a lot of money. So, people would have left that journey.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
how
So
did
I
you restart
actually
it
burst
again?
my account. I actually burst my account, and then after probably some months, I realized that the game is to sell the options. So then it was pretty easy. आपको कुछ नहीं करना होता था. You just had to, go for pick a stock and sell that whatever is the future price, just 10% out of the money each side you make a strangle, and whatever price you sell it, 100% SL on that. That was a simple strategy, used to work pretty well, and it used to give a ROI of 5 to 6%. So I did it till 2015, 2000, yeah, 2015, and it was a very consistent and decent strategy. Because of that initial loss, I figured out that the game was to sell, not buy.
Okay, that's great.
That's
Shankar,
great.
I
That's
think
great.
Shankar,
Hmm.
you have forgot to mention Aditya is right now is a full-time algo trader. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. I'm so sorry.
so
So sorry, Peter.
Aditya, uh, why you started as a discretionary trader, right? As a manual trader. Why you shifted to
Yeah,
algo trading?
everybody I think starts as a discretionary trader only. So I shifted to system trading in around probably 2018, mid of 2018, and then went on to be algo trader in somewhere around 2019, end of 2019. So it's like only 2.5 years only that I've been I've been using algos to trade. Switched it to because I feel it's very difficult to scale when you are using something discretionary, right? So because if you have to scale, I'll tell you a bit more about my journey. What happened was in 2015, I had built a sizable corpus. I got some investor, and what happened was there was a stock called Jindal Steel. Now that stock had fallen from the government had deallocated the coal blocks then somewhere in October 2014, and that stock had fallen from around 1100 levels to 150 to 200 levels, right? So I approached one of my investors. I said that we put everything in this, because ultimately there will be a power shortage if the government deallocates these blocks and don't go ahead with another auction. So we put all our money, and we took a leverage position in Jindal Steel, and we bought it at an average price of around 140. And it was a huge position. I mean, 24 lakh shares it was. And from 140, it went to 220. We had a target, we said we'll take 100% return. So we said we'll book it at 280, but it won the Gare Palma block, coal block. But soon after, next day or a couple of days, the government said that there was a cartelization and they'll, cancel the auction. and it started falling, and then it came around 80, where our leverage position got squared off. So I lost all my personal capital, everything, and then I went on to, I'd given my CAT exam uh, in 2014 December, I guess. So I got I got a call from one of the new IIMs, and then I went for the interview, and then because I had lost my capital, that is how I went for an MBA. Now, while I was doing my MBA 2016-17, I was doing some option. I mean, not doing. I was just paper trading some option strategies then during my college days, and that is when I figured out that you have to move to systems trading, because if to scale your funds, I have to reach that level which I was in 2015. I'll have to scale my funds, and that is only possible if I'm doing some kind of a system trade. So that is why I started building strategies, like strategies around condor, iron fly, these type of strategies.
Aditya, Jindal stock you bought like 120 level of 25 lakh shares.
Yeah, 24 lakh shares. I lost around
24 lakh.
24 lakh shares in 2015.
So that means 100 rupees profit means you made like
Yeah,
the profit was 25
yes,
crore.
yes. I made a very good loss in that position. I mean, if you put it in a
Oh.
bank account, even the interest would be way more than what an IIM graduate gets as a salary.
Yeah, but the stock has moved to 220, right? The 100 rupees high.
Yeah, the stock moved to 220 in February 2015. Then the government said that there was cartelization and they'll cancel the auction, and started falling. So we waited, because we said, okay, Jindal, came up with that they'll fight in Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court, gave a favorable ruling. I mean, so there are two ways how a ruling comes. One is that they make a judgment, and then they reserve the decision and come out with the final judgment, right? So based on the arguments that were there, so I was part of the court hearing also, so I was actively tracking it, and I thought that they'll win in the high court, but then ultimately everything got deallocated.
Okay, so you have not booked any profit at 220. You cut the
No, my
like position
leverage
at
position,
80.
in fact, we were just selling call options, and then the leverage position got squared off at 80. So I lost my entire corpus. In fact, uh, I lost quite a bit of my father's net worth also, and we were in debts, which ultimately, we had to sell something and then pay it off. That is what happened.
Oh, I don't have any words. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Yeah.
thought it should be good to mention it, because it's not like what it seems actually.
I think, Aditya, this will teach us a lesson, your story. So, the learning which I can take away from your experience is never play on leverage with leverage money.
Yeah, and do not put all your eggs in one basket. That too. I was
That
doing
too,
pretty
yeah.
well, with my option strategy that I told you. So what I used to do was, I used to pick up stocks that have very high, premiums. 10% out of the money, like Sun Pharma was at 900 levels. 10% out of money, simply you write both the strangles, and then that's it. Walkhart, Sun Pharma, Voltas. I used to earn like 5 to 6% on that kind of a capital in 2015. It was pretty easy. Market also didn't move much. किसी को option के बारे में पता नहीं होता था, तो the prices also were pretty good उस time. So it was easy money then, I'd say.
Okay. So Aditya, I had one question. Like, you talked about some strategies, straddle, strangle, and iron corner. So how, like, can you explain some of these strategies that you used in algo trading, and also like the
So
algo trading people use? But what are some of the pros or cons regarding that to our users, with some examples?
अगर the strategies, these simple strategies like iron condor, if I've tested it on a mean reverting asset class, which is USD INR, I've tested it on a trend following asset class like Bank Nifty. But अगर आप इसको management के बिना करते हो, any of these strategies, they are actually not profitable. तो अगर आप जैसे आयरन कॉन्डोर की बात करो, तो इसका -22% रिटर्न आता है बैंक निफ्टी पे आप करते हो तो एनुअल. So simply, if you are just putting an iron condor, it is not a profitable strategy. But if you are, this is what I back tested from the GDFL files. But आप इसमें अगर हल्का बहुत मैनेजमेंट लगा देते हो, तो थोड़ा पॉजिटिव हो जाता है ये. नॉर्मली आयरन कॉन्डोर्स और जो बटरफ्लाई स्ट्रैटेजी जो भी मतलब चलती है ना, वो इतनी ज्यादा प्रॉफिटेबल स्ट्रैटेजीज नहीं है. या फिर मतलब आपको एक रिस्क फ्री एसेट से ज्यादा रिटर्न नहीं दे सकती, मतलब एफडी से ज्यादा रिटर्न नहीं देंगी नॉर्मल स्ट्रैटेजी जैसे। आपको उसमें कहीं ना कहीं मैनेजमेंट लगाना पड़ेगा, तो आपको आइदर यू हैव टू यूज योर डिस्क्रिशन और यू हैव टू बिल्ड रूल्स अराउंड मैनेजिंग देम, कि आपको कैसे उसको मैनेज करना है। सो आयरन कॉन्डोर इज अ सिंपल, आई मीन स्ट्रैटेजी कि आप जहाँ पे आप स्ट्रैंगल्स को राइट करते हो। तो अगर जैसे मान लो बैंक निफ्टी 35,000 चल रहा है, तो आप मान लो 200 पॉइंट नीचे का, 200 पॉइंट्स नीचे का आप पुट भी बेचते हो, कॉल भी बेचते हो, और फिर उसके विंग्स ले लेते हो और थोड़ा दूर जाके, एंड इफ द मार्केट एक्सपायर्स विद इन दैट रेंज, तो आपको वो पूरा वो मिल जाता है।
So friends, just to update all of you, whatever we are sharing here, it's only and only for knowledge purpose and definitely not recommendation. So that's very nice to hear from your experience. When you're going to trade in options, before options, Aditya, what are the things do you generally check before trading in these options?
So the only thing is options is a leverage product, तो आपको उसका risk reward देखना पड़ता है, you know that. So I have a very simple rule, you know, even if I am making a strategy or anything, and I am yet to come across a loss making strategy if somebody follows that rule. Simple rule है, the expected, you know, gain should be greater than 0. After slippages, I feel the expected gain should be greater than 1. So expected gain is simply, you know, the size of win into the probability of win minus the size of loss into the probability of loss. So whatever you do, if you put into an equation simply, so there cannot be a strategy which makes losses until and unless that asset class is mean reverting. Mean reverting asset classes पे ये rule नहीं चलता, but trend following अगर कोई भी asset class होगा तो उस पे expected gain greater than 0 हमेशा एक profitable strategy ही आएगी, loss making strategy आ नहीं सकती। ये हो सकता है after the slippages it will be a loss making strategy, बट उससे पहले वो हमेशा प्रॉफिटेबल ही रहेगी। देन यू हैव टू जस्ट ट्वीक योर पैरामीटर्स और उसको आप फिर प्रॉफिटेबल बना सकते हो। सो आई गिव एन एग्जांपल कि जैसे प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ विन का क्या मतलब हुआ, अब आप एक ओटीएम ऑप्शन बेचते हो बहुत दूर का, राइट? तो उसमें प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ विन तो आपके फेवर में हो जाती है, बट साइज ऑफ विन आपके अगेंस्ट हो जाता है। क्यों? क्योंकि आप 90% ऑफ टाइम्स कमा रहे हो, बट आप जो 1% और या 10% ऑफ टाइम लूज कर रहे हो, यू आर लूजिंग बिग, राइट? तो आपका एक छोटा कमा रहे हो और ज्यादा टाइम कमा रहे हो। ऐसे ही अगर आप एक बड़ा ऑप्शन बेचते हो, उसमें आप शायद 50% या 30% विन रेशियो होगा आपका, बट आप ज्यादा कमा रहे हो, राइट? सो इफ यू पुट दिस इनटू द इक्वेशन, साइज ऑफ विन इनटू प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ विन माइनस साइज ऑफ लॉस इनटू प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ लॉस, और अगर ये 0 से ज्यादा आता है तो वो स्ट्रेटेजी पक्का ही प्रॉफिटेबल होगी, ये पक्का है। मीन रिवर्टिंग एसेट क्लास पे ये नहीं चलता, ये इक्वेशन।
तो ये लाइक आपका टाइम फ्रेम क्या रहता है स्ट्रेटजीज का, लाइक टू बिकम प्रॉफिटेबल? एज यू सेड कि मीन रिवर्स, तो उसका एक्सपायरी कितना, व्हाट एक्सपायरी यू जनरली कीप और यू कीप ऑन रोलिंग?
जनरली क्या होता है, द ट्रेंड दैट कम इन द मार्केट ना आर शॉर्ट लिव्ड, ठीक है? क्योंकि हर चीज को अपने एक मीन पे फॉल करना ही होता है इन द लॉन्ग टर्म। तो इफ यू आर वर्किंग अराउंड दिस रूल, आपको एक पहला रूल फॉलो करना पड़ेगा कि आपको नियरेस्ट एक्सपायरी को चूज करना है। बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली इफ यू आर डूइंग दिस रूल और आप ट्रेंड फॉलोइंग पे कर रहे हो, तो आप डेल्टा कमा रहे हो, राइट? सो इफ यू आर प्लेइंग अराउंड थीटा, तो थीटा में आपको पैसा नहीं मिलेगा इफ यू आर फॉलोइंग दिस रूल। थीटा आपको मीन रिवर्टिंग एसेट क्लास में पैसा दे सकता है, नॉट इन अ ट्रेंड फॉलोइंग एसेट क्लास। थीटा इज द, यू नो, डीके ऑफ ऑप्शन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टाइम, एंड डेल्टा इज कि वो कितना प्रीमियम चेंज होता है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द मूव ऑफ द अंडरलाइन।
अंडरलाइन, या
Yeah.
okay. So coming on to the like a topic like options strategy, so like since you told that you mostly आप sell करते हैं options, तो आप like would you go for buying also
I mean,
options in like what conditions?
I'm not saying I sell the options. I'm not saying I only sell the options. The point I'm making is कि, you know, either you are buying or you are selling. Once you implement the strategy, you should see the gross exposure की उसका gross exposure क्या है। So gross exposure का क्या मतलब है? जैसे बैंक निफ्टी का 25 का एक लॉट है, राइट? उसका 35,000 या 40,000 का सपोज आप मान लो प्राइस है, तो उसका ग्रॉस एक्सपोजर आपका 10 लाख आ रहा है, 40,000 इंटू 25। तो जब आप बाय कर रहे हो, जब आप सेल कर रहे हो, तो आप ग्रॉस एक्सपोजर का ध्यान रखो कि आप अगर आप 2 लाख रुपए पे 10 लाख रुपए का माल बेचते हो इन टर्म्स ऑफ ऑप्शन राइटिंग, तो आप बाय करने में तो आपको सिर्फ उसका प्रीमियम के पैसा देना है, शायद 10,000 रुपए देना पड़ेगा। बट आप 2 लाख रुपए से सेम बाइंग की स्ट्रेटेजी चलाओगे तो वो भी अच्छा परफॉर्म करेगी इनफैक्ट ऑप्शन सेलिंग से। बट द पॉइंट इज यू शुड नॉट ओवर लीवर योरसेल्फ इन टर्म्स ऑफ ग्रॉस एक्सपोजर। लोग क्या करते हैं, वो बाइंग का देखते हैं कि 10,000 रुपए ही लग रहा है, बट एक्सपोजर तो उसका 10 लाख है ना, तो अपने आप को वो लीवर कर लेते हैं वहां पे ज्यादा, और वो अच्छा डीडी दे देता है उनको।
Okay, so like, can you give some examples like of when some strategies regarding which involves mostly buying options and like some strategies when you sell options. So like, what all you look after while doing this? Some
Right. So
examples of those strategies.
as I told you, trend following asset class में, in a trend following asset class, a very simple rule is your expected gain should be greater than 0. Now, if you look at the super trend indicator, it works perfectly on a trend following asset class. So what you can do is simply, on a super trend, just I mean, use options to trade that indicator, right? So अगर super trend पे buy आया, either you sell an option or you buy an option. That is the way you can follow, and you just keep an SL. So once you keep an SL, you have restricted your size of the loss. तो अगर आप equation में देखोगे, size of win into probability of win minus size of loss into probability of loss. Now once you kept that SL, तो आपने अपना size of loss को restrict कर दिया. Now probability of win super trend में देखोगे, it's like 30 to 35% के आसपास है, but it will give you a big win. So the 0.35 into जो size of win हुआ minus size of loss जो आपने restrict कर दिया, so typical 1:2 का अगर आप RR लोगे, तो ये आपके फेवर में आ जाएगा, क्योंकि 0.35 into 2 minus 0.65 into 1, तो 0.05 का एक्सपेक्टेड गेन हो गया. तो अगर आप ऐसी कोई भी, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एन एग्जांपल टू फॉर्मुलेट अ स्ट्रेटजी, क्योंकि एग्जैक्ट स्ट्रेटजी देखो मैं जो चलाता हूँ, आई वोंट बी शेयरिंग इन दिस फोरम, राइट? क्योंकि स्ट्रेटजीज आर ऑलवेज मतलब देयर इज I've got a lot of capital और स्ट्रेटजीज द मार्केट में इतनी लिक्विडिटी नहीं होती कि वो एब्जॉर्ब कर पाए.
Or Aditya, we also do understand strategies are such that it may fit your personal style, but your strategy following style may not fit my personal style, and that is quite obvious. So we're just talking about examples here. That don't take. It's okay. It's absolutely fine if you don't share.
For example, I took this super trend example. Now, super trend has a typical, based on the backtest that I have done. अगर आप इसको तकरीबन on a 15-minute time frame, अगर not a 15-minute 5-minute time frame पे अगर आप तकरीबन 150 to 3 की setting पे चलाते हो, for example super trend को, now it gives you an indicator कि वो buy करना है कि sell करना है, right? Now once there is a buy signal, you just go for shorting an ATM option and take 20% as the SL. बस आप सुपर ट्रेंड के इंडिकेटर पे ये लेते रहो. तकरीबन इस स्ट्रेटेजी का ROI है 40 to 45% के आसपास ROI है. I did a क्वांट्स लीग का एक वो हुआ था, वेबिनार हुआ था, उसमें मैंने शेयर किया था और वहां पे मैंने शीट्स पूरी शेयर की थी विद बैक टेस्ट. सो इफ समबडी वांट्स दैट बैक टेस्ट, आई कैन शेयर द पिंग. 40 to 45% का इसका ROI है. सुपर ट्रेंड पे 150:3 की सेटिंग पे आप लगाओ, और जैसे ही बाय आता है आप एटीएम ऑप्शन शॉर्ट करो विद 20% SL. सेल आता है तो आप एटीएम ऑप्शन कॉल वाला शॉर्ट कर दो विद 20% SL. 40 to 45% का ROI. दिस इज द एग्जैक्ट स्ट्रेटजी. आई वाज एक्सप्लेनिंग कि मैंने इसको एक्सपेक्टेड गेन कैसे वन बनाया, बिकॉज इसका विन रेशियो 35% है, बट आपका विन इतना ज्यादा है कि अल्टीमेटली वो प्रॉफिटेबल स्ट्रेटेजी हो जाती है. इसके ड्रॉडाउन्स इतने ज्यादा हैं कि मैं इसको चला नहीं पाता. इट डजंट फिट माय ड्रॉडाउन क्राइटेरियंस.
Yeah, that's okay. So how important is technical analysis, Aditya, for you? For your trading, do you look at technical analysis?
I just follow one thing, which is price. So for me
price
only price matters.
Okay.
Yeah, volume also doesn't matter. OI पे मेरी कुछ strategies हैं, but OI थोड़ा बहुत matter करता है, I feel. But based on discussions that I have had with learned people, वो कहते हैं कि इतना matter नहीं करता. But my understanding is OI थोड़ा बहुत matter करता है, volume बिल्कुल भी matter नहीं करता. At least for me, I have been not able to decode a strategy कि जहाँ पे volume से मेरे को कुछ एक edge मिल रहा हो. Price is the only thing that I take care. So अगर मेरे को technical analysis में भी क्या होता है, you just plot price in certain patterns, वैसे बना देते हो. So we are straight away taking price from the GDFL files और फिर उसको अपने हिसाब से कर लेते हैं. So we are not using any of these indicators. जैसे super trend है, इन पे we do certain type of back test, but we are not using any of them right now.
Right. So your style is primarily price action, and whenever you see it's going to change direction, so maybe that's the time where you initiate your trade. So
yes,
that's right?
Yes. Yeah. So typically like OI का मैं एक अच्छा सा example देता हूँ. Generally people say कि इस particular strike में इतना OI है, right? Now that is an incorrect way of looking at it. क्योंकि उसमें अगर आप कुछ back testing करते हो तो you do not get any kind of predictive power. बट अगर आप क्या करते हो, जैसे कोई स्ट्राइक आपकी टेस्ट हो रही है, फॉर एग्जांपल 17,000 है, अब आप कहते हो 17,000 में मान लो 70 लाख का ओआई था, राइट? तो 70 लाख का ओआई है, अब जब वो स्ट्राइक को टेस्ट कर रहा है 17,000 मार्केट, अगर मान लो पुट की बात कर रहे हैं, 17,000 पुट में फॉर एग्जांपल 70 लाख ओआई है, अब जब मार्केट 17,200 से 17,000 जा रहा है, उस टाइम पे जब वो टेस्ट कर रहा है 17,000 तोड़ दिया उसने, 16 मतलब आप लगा लो 16, 1720, 16,980 ऐसे लेवल्स पे है, तो उसका अगर ओआई बढ़ रहा है तो वो एक लॉन्ग ट्रेड है। अगर उसका ओआई उस पॉइंट पे डिक्रीज हो रहा है तो एक शॉर्ट ट्रेड है। ये बहुत अच्छा चलता है।
राइट।
सो एवरीथिंग आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ इज स्ट्रिक्टली बैक टेस्टेड, मतलब कुछ ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं अपने उससे बोल रहा हूँ।
राइट, आप बैक टेस्टिंग कर रहे हैं एंड उसके बाद उसको तो एल्गो में लगा रहे हैं, राइट? सो आदित्य, अभी देख लीजिए, देयर आर सम पीपल आर लाइक ऑप्शन बायर्स, सम पीपल आर ऑप्शन सेलर्स। तो सबको आप बोलते हैं कि इसको बैक टेस्ट करो, बैक टेस्ट करके उसको हिस्टोरिकल में बेटर रिटर्न मिल रहा है, देन यू गो एंड डिप्लॉय इन द लाइक इन लाइव, maybe it can be
Exactly.
algo or manual trading, you can do,
Yeah,
right?
So algo is just a way to do it automatically. बाकी तो एक बार आपने बैक टेस्ट करके एक प्रॉफिटेबल स्ट्रेटजी निकाल लिया तो सिस्टम तो आपके पास आ ही गया आपका।
Okay, so ये केस में if a trader there may be a different type of drawdown, maybe हम लोग प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी नहीं देख सकता है कि ये हिस्टोरिकली कितना प्रॉफिट दिया है, बट ड्रॉडाउन भी देखना पड़ेगा क्योंकि अपना साइकोलॉजी में भी इम्पैक्ट होगा। सो एक एज ए ट्रेडर ही वांट टू पोजीशन हिमसेल्फ एज ए बायर ऑफ द ऑप्शन और सेलर ऑफ द ऑप्शन, ये वो कैसा कर सकता है? इसके लिए कुछ आप कुछ पॉइंट्स बता सकते हैं?
There is a term called Calmer. Calmer is basically your max profit, or sorry, your annual profit divided by your max drawdown. So any strategy, I feel, if it is a positional strategy, any strategy with greater Calmer or greater than a Calmer of 4, and any if it is an intraday strategy, any strategy with a Calmer greater than 6 is a good strategy. So this is what I follow. So if you're buying or selling, so buying का generally Calmer कम हो जाता है, selling का Calmer ज़्यादा हो जाता है. So if you're whatever you're doing, buying or selling, if you just look at this particular statistic, which is the Calmer, so it will give you a fair idea. Now suppose there is a strategy which gives 400% returns और उसका 40% drawdown है, right? Now so you run it on 10% capital size, तो वो वही strategy 40% return और 10% drawdown की. So it's all about Calmer. So if you just look at this particular statistic की जिसका Calmer ज्यादा है, मेरे को वो चलानी है, उसके अराउंड आप लीवर करके ऑप्शन बाय करके लीवर करके अगर उसका कम रिटर्न है, फॉर एग्जांपल इफ अ स्ट्रेटजी इज 21% और उसका 3% ड्रॉडाउन, लाइक वन ऑफ द पोजीशन स्ट्रेटजीज दैट आई एम रनिंग, तो अगर उसका 7 का कैलमर आ रहा है, राइट, अब मेरे को उसको लीवर करना है, सो आई विल बाय ऑप्शंस एंड लीवर इट एंड आई विल मेक इट अ 210% स्ट्रेटजी ऑन अ 30% ड्रॉडाउन. So if I have this Calmer figure, I can either lever or delever myself and accordingly position myself. तो चाहे बाइंग की स्ट्रेटेजी हो चाहे सेलिंग की स्ट्रेटेजी हो, इट्स ऑल अबाउट कि उसका रिटर्न इज टू ड्रॉ डाउन कितना है, वो रेशियो कितना है.
तो मींस आप ऑप्शन बाई भी कर सकते हैं, सेल भी कर सकते हैं, बट आपको रिस्क को मैनेज करना पड़ेगा, कितना पोजीशन लेना है, पोजीशन साइजिंग आपको मैनेज करना पड़ेगा, राइट?
एग्जैक्टली, बेस्ड ऑन योर एक्सपेक्टेड रिटर्न यू विल हैव टू मैनेज योर पोजीशन साइज. सो फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपको एक स्ट्रेटेजी चलानी है, सो एंड दिस इज नॉट माय आइडिया, आई कैन सी दैट पर्सन जिसका आइडिया वो ग्रुप पे अभी है, तो आपको जैसे एक स्ट्रेटेजी चलानी है फॉर एग्जांपल एंड इट हैज गॉट अ ड्रॉ डाउन ऑफ 50,000, राइट, फॉर एक पर लॉट पे आप लगा लो, मान लो 2,000 पॉइंट का ड्रॉ डाउन है, तो 2,000 पॉइंट का ड्रॉ डाउन इज लाइक 50,000 ड्रॉ डाउन, ठीक है. तो अब आपको उसको 50,000 प्लस उसका मार्जिन ये रख के आपको उसको चलाना है स्ट्रेटेजी को, सिंपल. या आप उस पे अगर मान लो एक स्ट्रेटेजी पे आप बोलते हो 50,000 का ड्रॉ डाउन है और मेरे को लॉस लेना है 2 लाख रुपए का टोटल उस स्ट्रेटेजी पे, मैं 4 लॉट से उस स्ट्रेटेजी को चलाऊंगा, राइट. सो व्हाटएवर ड्रॉ डाउन, उस ड्रॉ डाउन बैक टेस्टेड ड्रॉ डाउन को आप इंटू 2 कर लो, और इंटू 2 करने के बाद जो भी आपको स्ट्रेटेजी पे लॉस लेना है उतने लॉट से आप उस स्ट्रेटेजी को चलाओ.
राइट, बट आप पास ऐसा भी मार्जिन एडिशनल रखता है तो इट विल इम्पैक्ट योर रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट, राइट? आरओआई पे काफी इम्पैक्ट आएगा, आप एक्स्ट्रा फंड्स आप रख रहे हैं.
एग्जैक्टली. सो राइट नाउ क्या होता है, इट्स नॉट अबाउट एक्स्ट्रा फंड, सो आई कैन लीवर माई सेल्फ यूजिंग बाइंग ऑप्शंस ऑल्सो. I mean, I can buy options for margin benefit. I can lever in, one of the ways to lever it is in that way. The other way is, that, I mean, you can simply implement a buying strategy, na? I mean, just like a selling strategy, buying strategy works also equally well. Only thing would be कि उसका drawdown थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा होगा. So you can accordingly position size yourself. कि 2 लाख रुपए पे मेरे को एक ही लॉट चलाना है, that way. So if you want to increase your returns, you can even run your strategy on in 2 lakhs you can run 2 lot, 3 lot, as many lots as you want, because you're already keeping a buffer capital aside, so your ROI actually will not be impacted.
Brilliant answer. So आदित्य, अभी आपने एक मेंशन किया कि बैक टेस्ट करके हम लोग देख लेंगे, उसके बाद हम लोग लाइव पे जाएंगे. यस. सो समटाइम द बाउंसर कम्स, लाइक रशिया यूक्रेन का भी वॉर का सिचुएशन है. ये तो मैं बैक टेस्टिंग में ऐसा वाला सिचुएशन मुझे may मिल सकता है, मीन सिमिलर, बट may not be, right? Depend on the data.
I'll tell you an example. I had a positional short position of 37,200 put. Okay, 48,000 quantity in Bank Nifty. Now that put I had made a 37,200 straddle for 1,000 rupees, and I got exit in that put at around so there was an SL for the straddle which was not hit, and I got an exit around 600 for that put at an average price of 600. So 517 pe bhi kata, 600 bhi kata, I still had a profit of 400 rupees, right? So we have tested scenarios like I have a philosophy, if I'm back testing it, I have a thesis wherein it says ki premium sab kuch bata deta hai. So premium has priced in everything. So the Russia-Ukraine news was not new. It was already being priced in the premiums, right? If you look 16,000 ki put aapko kab 20 rupees ki mili hai? If you look at the start of the week, it was 20 rupees, which was like 1,200 points away then. 16,000 put I'm talking of on Friday. Right? So it was already being priced in the premiums. So if you look at it, the straddle was actually 37,200 ka straddle tha, which I wrote on Friday. It was around 1,000 rupees. I could have booked it at, on Wednesday, it closed at around 480, 490 levels. And I was able to exit at 600 at 916. So there was a slight loss, which I covered up today. So everything is built in the premium. That is the underlying principle. Now people generally say you are doing a positional strategy, raat mein something happens to Modi or something else, there will be a back on event, but then I feel it is all priced in, and itna bahut risk to hota hi hai. So that is why it is said that you have to accordingly position size yourself. Now ab kya hota hai, jaise I told you na ki Bank Nifty ka jo margin hai 2 lakh hai, and the exposure is around 10 lakhs or 7 lakhs. So you're actually levering yourself up 4 times, right? तो आप 2 लाख पे एक ही लॉट करो ना. Why you have to lever yourself? Instead of 40%, go for 14-15% returns. Don't lever yourself. अगर 10% गिर भी जाएगा बैंक निफ्टी तो एक दिन तो लौट के आ ही जाएगा ना. You can do a covered call strategy till then, right? So it's all about कितना आप lever कर रहे हो. If you're over levering yourself, तो हाँ ऐसे moves में तो you will bust yourself.
So आप short option लेने के टाइम पे ये आप hedge करके जाता है कि overnight always you will keep as hedge, or you don't?
My strategy is, I do not hedge myself for overnight this thing, because the hedge cost is too much. According to me, I have a philosophy. तो मैंने calculate किया 48% hedge cost आता है generally. Overall आप average लगाओगे low IV और high IV के environment को, तो the hedge cost is 48%. My strategy is yielding less than that. So why should I buy hedges? So that is why I don't buy hedges.
Then when you hedge your strategy for your short position है तो कभी आप hedge करते हैं?
No, I don't hedge my position. My philosophy is that position sizing is the ultimate hedge. तो अगर आपके पास 10 लाख रुपए है तो you do one lot, right? That is the hedge. Otherwise there is no hedge. Like for example, you're buying Bajaj Finance in your portfolio, right? अब Bajaj Finance 20% करके गिर जाएगा तो आपके पास कोई hedge है क्या? नहीं है ना. तो but आपको फिर भी वो पैसा वापस आ जाएगा ultimately. Why? Because you are not levered. So simply, even if you're selling options, so you sell it according to the gross exposure. That is my rule. That is the rule I follow. So why do you have to hedge yourself? Because hedging the cost, it's not free.
And friends, if you have any queries or doubts, you can always DM us. We will not be able to make you speakers, but you can DM us your messages. We can ask Aditya here itself. So, actually, how much percent of ROI you are looking at, Aditya, for most of your trades? What will be an average ROI for a trade in a day?
So there are two things. First is cash, and the other thing is margin. So what I do is cash is deployed in the FDs, or maybe any liquid fund, anything like that, and that is pledged. So I get around 6% from this on the cash, and then on margin I make around I have a target of making around 20 to 25% annually on my corpus.
Okay, so that's roughly around.
That's roughly
6
around
to
annual target. If
26.
I get 30% on the funds that I'm managing, I am very happy. I mean,
Right.
I've achieved everything.
Great.
Shankar.
So I had one question. Yeah, Pete.
Yeah. No,
Yes, Peter.
he's saying like he keep his money in FD, so he gets some around 6% interest, and then he pledged those FDs, and around 90% margin something he will get as a
No,
collateral
100%
margin.
margin on FDs. There is no
100%.
haircut on
Okay.
FDs.
Yeah, 100%
For
100%
FD
margin,
is
and on the base of
100%.
that he's paid.
Peter, for
Sorry?
stocks also, na? For stocks or mutual funds, especially stocks, you can easily pledge with your brokers. Like in Paytm also, sometimes I trade. I pledge my stocks there. So I
Yes,
do
right.
get decent pledge for mostly large caps at a 50%. And my cash requirement also comes down. So this is
Yes,
a very
right.
common practice and I think very good. But I think if you want more margin, like Aditya gave this good idea, investing in this or in liquid funds also would make sense. Liquid funds also will get around 95% pledge. Like liquid B's is one
But
of them.
liquid funds generally are, liquid Bs are like overnight instruments, right? So overnight instruments have typically less risk. So that is why they'll yield less than FDs always. So they'll yield like
Yes.
200 to 300 basis point less than FDs on an average.
Yes.
क्योंकि
And-
FD longer
but-
duration होता है तो उसमें थोड़ा सा रिस्क आ जाता है. Liquid Bs
और
overnight है तो
problem
risk नहीं आता.
problem है delivery brokerages are so high with many brokers, na? So people
Yeah,
tend
that
to
is also one of the issues.
yeah, people tend to avoid buying liquid funds.
Right.
So
Manas,
that is
yeah,
the
go ahead.
reason.
Manas had a question, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so like Mike, since you talked about premiums like reflecting whatever like information is there in the option, so I had a question like, do you trade using the volatilities also, or like is premium also factors that like, do you make your strategies depending on volatility? Yeah, do you use VIX as a like?
Yeah, so based on the backtest that I had done, if it is in the lowest quartile and if it is in the upper, top decile, if volatility, so it's better to avoid trading then. So what I've done is I've plotted. So for me, IV is like the straddle premium divided by the price of Bank Nifty. That is the IV for me, right? It's like that how it works for me. So if that particular ratio is in the top decile or if it is in the lowest quartile, it is better to avoid trading, because then what happens is agar lowest quartile mein hai wo, then the realized volatility is way more than the implied volatility. और अगर वो टॉप क्वार्टाइल में है तो भी प्रीमियम्स इतनी जल्दी डीके नहीं होंगे, तो या फिर इतने हाई प्रीमियम कि आप बाय नहीं कर सकते हो, तो बेटर रहता है कि आप अवॉइड कर दो, बिकॉज ड्रॉडाउन्स आपके कम हो जाते हैं. आरओआई सेम रहता है बट योर कैलमर improves if you're following this rule. So there is a hint of volatility that I use in my the trades that I do.
Aditya, there are some questions from audience. The first question is, you do is Iron Condor or Iron Fly is in weekly options in USD INR is profitable or not, or in monthly
No, it is
options?
not. It is not profitable. I have backtested lot of strategies for USD INR, and if you look at 2021, I'm yet to come out with a profitable strategy. एक strategy बस मेरे को अभी तक profitable मिली है 2021 में, और वो भी इसलिए profitable है because I am doing pyramid trades in that. Otherwise, any type of strategy that works pretty well in Bank Nifty or Nifty does not work in USD INR. That is why I said कि वो जो expected वाला जो है ना, that I gave the formula, expected gain should be greater than 0. That does not work in a mean reverting asset class. It does not work in USD INR. So Iron Condor भी मैंने backtest किया है, वो भी बेकार स्ट्रेटेजी है. आयरन फ्लाई भी बैकटेस्ट किया है, वो भी बेकार स्ट्रेटेजी है. रेशियोज भी बैकटेस्ट किए हैं, वो भी बेकार स्ट्रेटेजी है. नथिंग वर्क्स इन यूएसडी आईएनआर. इफ यू आर मैनेजिंग आयरन कॉन्डोर वो अलग चीज हो जाता है, बट आप सिंपली अगर आयरन कॉन्डोर डाल देते हो तो वो नहीं चलता यूएसडी आईएनआर में. दिस आई हैव ऑलरेडी टेस्टेड. इनफैक्ट जो बैंक निफ्टी में लेग वाइज एसएल करते हैं, कंबाइन एसएल करते हैं, ये सब चीजें भी चल जाती हैं, वो भी यूएसडी आईएनआर में नहीं चलती है.
नहीं चलती है, राइट. वन मोर क्वेश्चन. For best result, in which language you code your strategies?
So we are using Python and
Maybe
C++.
optimization purpose, I think.
Yeah, so we are using Python and C++. Backtesting is entirely on Python, and For some brokers, we are trading on using their fixed APIs, and some brokers we are using. So if you are using a REST API, then it is Python. If you are using a fixed API, then we are coding on C++. So right now we are doing it on
or you are using Python. Yeah, for the audience,
Python for REST APIs.
yeah, brokers nowadays provide open APIs. Those are the REST APIs. So you can use those REST API. It's just a protocol. So you can use those REST API, and you can ask any freelancer, or if you're yourself is a coder, then you can use, and you can write some algos, and you can fire the orders. Even brokers provide a broadcast API, that is a market data API. So you can use the market data, and uh, your logic may work on that, and you can take some signals, and then you can fire the order through trading APIs. One very generic question, Aditya, maybe it will help for uh, new traders or new to algo. He's asking how to start algo trading, and what is algo, and how to start algo trading.
Yeah, so I always mention it to people. First is you need to learn bit of coding. ठीक है, अगर आपको कोडिंग नहीं आती तो आपको मैनुअल जाके डेटा पे बैक टेस्ट करना पड़ेगा. द बेस्ट प्लेस टू लर्न कोडिंग इज कोड विद हैरी का एक यूट्यूब चैनल है. He explains it pretty well. Whatever language you want to use, either you want to use Python, C++, all the language, Node.js, JavaScript, कुछ भी use करना हो, he has explained it pretty well, and even in regional languages over there, हिंदी और इंग्लिश शायद दोनों में है. Code with Harry is a good channel. Once you are through with it, basically coding आने से क्या होता है, you whatever backtest that you do, you have the flexibility to do different kinds of backtest. So that kind of flexibility you get. Now once after, so it's like first you have to have an idea. अब आपको idea आता है, you need to backtest in the data कि actually चलता है कि नहीं चलता, right? I am discussing so many ideas with so many people and I am backtesting it, but आधे से ज्यादा मैं देखता हूँ वो ideas profitable ही नहीं होते हैं. Right, so it's not just कि वो idea, if you're having a gut feel that idea will be profitable, it's not like that. So either you have to manually backtest it, या फिर आपको कोई code करना पड़ेगा so that you can backtest it fast and you get lot of flexibility in twitching with the parameters or something like that. And once you have that idea, you should then simply एक excelling trade का video है where he teaches you how to automate your system using a REST API. तो एक्सेलिंग ट्रेड का वो जीरोदा का एपीआई लेके पूरा लॉगिन और पूरा प्रोसेस वो समझाते हैं. सो आई थिंक इफ दीज टू थिंग्स यू रेफर टू कोड विद हैरी और एक्सेलिंग ट्रेड का वो वीडियो वेयर ही एक्सप्लेन्स दैट दिस थिंग, बिकॉज आई स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम देयर बिफोर आई हायर्ड समबडी टू डू इट फॉर मी. सो that is where I started, और अगर मैं वहां से कर सकता हूँ, so I feel anybody can learn from there. That is why this is the best place to start.
Right. So audience, for algo trading, you will get the APIs, like in even Paytm Money is providing a open API. So you can use those APIs and you can connect with any fintech company. If you are not a trader, if you are not a developer, then you can connect with some of the fintech companies who are providing algo trading services, and you can start your trading. So next question is, how do you handle your slippages with your algo trading or manual trading when you are placing a large amount of quantities, when you are trading?
Yeah, so for that, we have used some kind of execution logics. So what happens is I have access to a bid ask list of 20, right? So suppose if I have placed an SL order, or I know that my SL is about to come, I can access that bid list ask list of 20, right? And I know कि अगर वो मैंने फिर उसमें वो करके देख रखा है, this also I back tested that if it is there in that 20 bid list ask list, there is a very good chance that your SL will hit. So what I do is, before my SL comes, I straight away go ahead and give my SL order before the price even comes. So in the long run, मेरा return थोड़ा कम हो जाता है, but after accounting for slippages, I feel that my strategy is making the same kind of returns. So my strategy is very, very slippage sensitive. So this is one of the examples of execution logic that I've shared. So ऐसे मैंने 3-4 logics I have built around that. Most of the ideas कहीं और से ही लिए हुए हैं, but these are very good logics and they work pretty well. So around that, I think I'm able to avoid that.
Right. So someone is asking, can I start algo trading with some of the AMI broker or trading view or those kind of applications, and can I do the back testing through AMI broker and trading view?
Yeah, so AMI broker, it's a little bit tough to backtest options using AMI broker. So that is why I use Python. Or if it is only a simple future strategy and you're using some kind of a technical indicator, it's easy to backtest in AMI broker. So definitely, and you connect it via API bridge and you can start your algo trading from there. So algo trading is nothing but you have a system. आपको पहले एक idea आया, you backtested it, you formed a system, and then you just automated it. That's algo trading. So either you automate through a API bridge, या फिर आप खुद code लिख के REST API use करके कर दो. So you can do it through AMI broker also.
Right, even AMI broker, or you can get the data to Excel and you can do that. Means starting वहाँ से भी कर सकते हैं, but थोड़ा professional way में आपको करना है, then Python is the better, or you can hire someone or you can do yourself. So that is the way to do the back testing. And someone is asking for the data also, where I get the data. There are a lot of vendors are there. You can find in the market some authorized vendors.
So GDFL data is the GDFL, either you can purchase it from GDFL or there's a website called Trade Catcher. So although the data is not consistent, but they provide free data. Trade Catcher.
Right, GDFL, True Data. There are many vendors are there, so you can get the data, or even you may get the data from some of the Twitter handles also. They also give the data. Yeah, even brokers also providing the data. So some of the brokers, so you can
so
find
high
for those.
frequency data you will only get from the brokers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't have much questions. Shankar, Manas, if you have any questions, you can ask.
So for our any new traders who want to be traders or fellow traders, any final tips or advice you want to give, Aditya?
And then I have a question.
Like some do's and don'ts here. Yeah.
So the first thing I would say is, I've been bust 2 times in my life, and both of them were because I was over levered. So don't over lever yourself. And hedging does not actually protect you from getting bust. So the best hedge I feel is position sizing. So you should define your position size based on the gross exposure. Like I said, 25 is the lot of Bank Nifty into the price of Bank Nifty. That is your gross exposure. So don't make it more than 40 to 50% ever if you are doing positional. So that is the best hedge you can take. If you are position sized well enough, you don't even need to take stop losses on your trade, because ultimately वो ऊपर जाता ही जाता है. So for example, I'm recently back testing somebody else's idea, which is like, for every 1% move, for example, suppose Bank Nifty is at 35,000, then for every 1% move, for example, Bank Nifty is at 35,000. Now you buy it at 35,000. Now for every 1%, down move, you are again buying 10. So in the first instant, you are buying for only 10% of your capital. Now for every 1% down move, you keep on accumulating it and you keep on booking it at 1%, profits. All these things. So it gives a very good ROI of around 10 to 11% if you are just doing this without any SL. Or आप lever भी नहीं हो, all you have to do is just invest in typically 10 trades. So और based on इन पैरामीटर को अगर आप ट्विच कर दोगे हल्का सा, तो इनका ROI बढ़ के 20% तक भी पहुंच जाता है. So these type of simple strategies where there is no stop loss, but because you have not over levered yourself, work pretty well. और 20% ROI अगर आप compounded निकाल रहे हो, cash पे निकाल रहे हो, it is FNO वाले generally talk about 60 to 70%, but 20% ROI and if you're compounding, it is pretty good. And you can scale your capital. Capital मिलना बहुत आसान होता है if you know about prop desk and all that.
Right. Aditya, my question to you. See, the geopolitical scenes are very different right now, which it was 3 months back. Things have changed. So in these kind of times of crisis, what is your advice to the fellow traders, and what is your expectation as well from the market? Are we heading in for some correction, or are we going to be here for some time, or are we going to move up from here? I know it's very, it's very subjective, but still, I'm asking you this question.
On the post that you had, on the post that you tagged me for marketing this FNO pe Charcha, you've written irrespective of market falling or rising. So how does it matter whether market falls or rises? Ultimately, if a backtest implementing a backtested system doesn't even matter to you. So sometimes I don't even know what level Bank Nifty is. Right now, I have my straddle written today. That is why I know that it closed at 36,400. But otherwise, some weeks I don't even know what level Bank Nifty is. That doesn't matter. Either we head into a correction or we don't. Long run, ultimately, it has to go up. That's it. So your strategy should be around.
Yes, you should always, you're saying, backtest your strategies before implementing. See, for me as well, personally, I don't even look at any news. I mean, Peter knows about it. And because I don't look into news, I believe in charts. Again, like you backtested things, and things get clearer. But there are a lot of people here who are listening to us who, I mean, when I'm speaking to them, they are still saying that we are expecting a correction. But if you look at a longer period time, not as an option trader, a longer period time, let's say 1 month, 3 months, 6 months time, not very long run, but in this kind of period, do you expect some kind of corrections happening? Or do you think markets will be stable here? Or it will start moving up from yesterday's low? Aditya.
I actually am very bad at predicting this. So I said, I invest all my funds in FDs and then pledge it. The reason because I'm very bad at predicting markets. I don't know what stock will go up actually.
Okay.
Or markets will go up or down. I don't know.
Aditya, this is the last question I'm taking from audience. Someone is asking minimum how many years or period we have to do the back testing for get the confidence.
So I'll give an example. Bank Nifty का तो अभी 5 years, 6 years का data हो गया है options का weekly options का. But I am testing it on USD INR options, which was the data is for Feb 2019 to अभी तक का है till Feb 2022. So this is typically 3 years of data. Now what I'm seeing in this data is 2019, 2020 are very very profitable strategies जो Bank Nifty में चलते हैं. But 2021 is actually I told you I'm yet to come across a profitable strategy, barring one strategy where I'm doing pyramiding, right? So if you're looking at data, there are two ways to do it. One is in-sample testing and the other is out-sample testing. तो आप क्या करो एक छोटे time period पे whatever strategies you have tested, उस पे एक parameter लगा के you have to optimize that, and then for a certain period then you have to forward test it. फॉरवर्ड टेस्ट मतलब जैसे अगर 2019 से 22 तक का डेटा है तो आपने फॉर एग्जांपल 2020 तक कोई एक आपने स्ट्रैटेजी फॉर्मुलेट कर ली टिल 2020, राइट? सो 2021 में उसको फॉरवर्ड टेस्ट करो 2021 के डेटा पे कि वो पैरामीटर पे अच्छे आ रही है नहीं आ रही है. नो अगर मैं उसको यूएसडी आईएनआर की जो स्ट्रैटेजीज दैट आई हैव वर्कड आउट, if I look at it for 2020 2019 to 2022, it's exceptional returns, मतलब 200-300% रिटर्न है. बट अगर मैं फॉरवर्ड टेस्टिंग करता हूँ बेस्ड ऑन 2020 की स्ट्रैटेजीज को 2021 पे, तो मेरा ड्रॉडाउन ही 80-90% पहुंच रहा है. इनफैक्ट कुछ केसेस में तो पूरा कैपिटल ही खत्म हो गया है, राइट? सो इसलिए दिस फॉरवर्ड टेस्टिंग एंड इन सैंपल आउट सैंपल टेस्टिंग वर्क्स प्रीटी वेल. तो अगर आपके पास कितना भी छोटा डेटा हो, साइज हो, बट आप उसी छोटे पीरियड्स में नए छोटे छोटे ब्लॉक्स बनाओ सैंपल्स के कि वो यहाँ पे मैं पैरामीटर लगा के ऑप्टिमाइज करता हूँ, फिर उसको फॉरवर्ड टेस्ट करता हूँ तो चलता है कि नहीं चलता. सो दैट विल गिव यू अ बेटर आइडिया कि वो स्ट्रैटेजी चलेगी नहीं चलेगी इवन ऑन अ स्मॉल सैंपल साइज.
I think last 2-3 years, if one is doing backtesting, that will give you the experience of last 15 years. Because in terms of investing as well as trading, जो experience हुआ ना, जो volatility दिखाया, जो stagnation दिखाया, सब experience आपको backtesting है 3 साल का experience में मिल जाएगा. You are very right, Aditya. So this is a very good time actually when we can. So thank you, Aditya, for your time. I don't have any questions. No one messaged me anything on the questions. So from my Aditya, so thank you very much, Aditya, for your time.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Peter, for sharing with us your ideas. Because Algo is a subject which I personally don't understand much, other than I've seen Peter working sometimes. Manas, thank you very much for your time. and of course Harsh, and our lovely audience who have been here attending today. I hope today's experience has been enriching for you. For further knowledge, you can attend our Paytm Wealth Academy or Paytm Wealth Community education programs. Some of them are free. Enjoy, keep learning, keep enjoying. Join us on Twitter, write to us, enrich yourselves, and make money. Aditya is there. You can connect with him as well. I think Aditya's number is also there. I had seen it there on Twitter. He has mentioned it. But Aditya, can we call you?
Yeah, I'm on. I answer all my calls. That number is there, to add to my broking plans. So I answer to
Yes.
all this thing.
And you use Algo, so maybe you will have ample time even to talk during the market hours, right?
Yeah, sure. So I pick up
Great,
calls
great,
even in the
great.
market hours. I'm always on phone.
Huh.
Lanka, that is the advantage for algo traders actually. They are not much
Yes, I
occupied
was
in the
just
market
coming.
hours.
Yes. And people like
Right.
us who have some full-time assignments or who are trading with huge volumes, that's why Algo really helps.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Aditya, thank you,
So
Aditya, for joining us and sharing your knowledge. Shanka, thank you. Manas, thank you.
Thanks, Aditya,
thank you,
for sharing so
everyone.
Yeah,
much.
thank you all the audience.
And,
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks
Thanks,
for
Shankar.
joining us.
and have a great day ahead. All the best and have a great weekend. Happy investing
Yeah,
and trading, of course.
thank you all.
Thank you
We'll
all.
meet next week, next Friday,
Next week.
6
See you
p.m.
next week.